Welcome to 52 Weeks of Flow. This is a Moving River podcast, hosted by multifaceted entrepreneur and transformational coach Bea-Marie. In this podcast, we want to help you discover the concept of flow and show you ways to get into flow and how you can keep your life flowy.
Hello, 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 and welcome to 52 Weeks of Flow, where we talk about all aspects of flow in our lives, how to create it, how to maintain it, and how to access it whenever we want. If you like to support the show and learn more about what we do at Moving River, you can check out our website www.movingriver.com or check out www.superwoman.coach for our Superwoman training and circle. You can also find us on Instagram at moving_river, or you can find us here, right now. How convenient, right? As my guest today, I have the pleasure to introduce the founder of The Creative Mind, the host of the popular podcast, The Creative Mind. She is an actress and a casting director, and as a coach and mentor, she supports artists and creators of all kinds to awaken to who they really are and unfold their true potential. Welcome, Maike Doehling.
Thank you so much. It's always very nice to hear the introduction of others, how they introduce myself. So thank you so much for being here.
Yes, I'm so happy that you are here because I love your work. I love what you do. I love what you create in this world. And I see you as somebody who lives a life in flow. So I wanted to ask you if you could share with us what flow means to you.
Oh, yes. Yes, this is a very interesting question because lately I think also it changed a little bit my flow in my life, or I felt like I got more into my flow, which was connected to some decisions I took in my life. So first, I would say flow for me is being connected to something inside ourselves which drives us. That's the first thing. And then the second thing is for me to also follow that, because there are a lot of things that can distract us from our flow, which are either inside of ourselves or outside of ourselves, and to take the decisions to being able to follow the flow. So first, I would say flow is something that is born inside of us, or which is natural and which comes from our heart, from our soul, from our own or true energy, which is really us, because we all have different energies. And I think when we are connected to our true energy, that is something that can unfold, and that can also unfold our own flow. But second, I also have to say, I thought about flow and your picture. In my podcast, we already talked about you and me about flow. Mm-hmm. And you are the founder of Moving River. So we talked about the river and the flow. So I think flow for me is also, so the first thing, what I said, something that comes out of us and which we can unfold. And the second is also to follow the flow of life, like to surrender to life and to surrender to what's in front of us and to surrender to life and what happens in life, and not hold us back from life because we want to control it. And that's also what is flow for me, or maybe another part of flow.
This is so amazing, because in last week's episode, I talked exactly about that. I talked about surrendering to flow and giving up the need of control. So thank you for bringing this up, This is so cool.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, I'm right there. And you talked about, the inside, the flow comes from the inside or also from the outside. How in your opinion is that, can we bring that together? Because sometimes, the outside doesn't really match our inside.
Mm. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, good question. I would say that it starts with the inside.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I would say it starts with the inside, and actually we have to balance the outside and the inside. Because what I worked a lot with last year was the inner flow, or to really get connected to our own life force. And that has to do with our flow, and that has to do with many aspects, like maybe we can talk about this later, what stops us from the flow, but it is the voices we have in our head, the patterns, the blockages and everything. But also what supports our flow is the surrounding we live in, the people we are with, and also the food we eat. Like, there are so many things that support our energy, and our energy is the foundation for our flow. So if we are not connected to our true energy, or really in balance with our energy, then it's difficult to unfold the flow, or unfold our energy. So I think it's a balance between the outside and the inside world. Am I living in a place which supports my energy? Am I surrounded with people, or am I in relationships that feel healthy for me, or are they toxic, for example? That's also a thing. Am I in a work relationship which feels good for me, or am I frustrated with it? All these aspects of our lives, and there are many more, also our health, is something that supports our energy and our flow. So we have to be aware of what surrounds us, and also how our energy inside of us can flow, like in our body. Am I healthy? Am I eating well? Am I sleeping well? Am I enough in nature, or do I sit in front of the computer all day? Is all this in balance? And that's, I would say, how we can connect the inside and the outside. And then we come to the next step. When we say surrender to life, we are more able to surrender to life when we are in balance with all of this. Because when we have problems in our relationships and in our life, and don't feel good at home, and have problems with our health and everything, and this is not in balance, then it's difficult to see even the possibilities in life, because we're busy with something else, which can also be a sabotage. But yes. So I think first the balance, and then we can also look beyond what's there, and where we can follow and see the possibilities.
Yes, absolutely. And let's dissect a little bit what you just said, because you just dropped some amazing flow tools right there.
Oh, yeah.
Food. To get
yes.
yourself into flow, to live a life in flow. Food. Don't eat toxic things.
Yes.
Nourish your body with what it needs. Then, second, your surrounding. Do you spend time in nature? Do you love where you live? If you are trying to get away from your house or your apartment all the time, then maybe the energy in the house or something there is off. It feels off. Then, yes, spending time in nature, being outside, being grounded. This also helps with flow, because when you're grounded, you can flow more easily. Then,
yes.
Relationship-wise, the people you surround yourself with, Who do you live with? Who lives in your house? Even your neighbors.
Yes, so important.
Do you have toxic neighbors who fight all the time? When you have kids, the relationships that your kids have, are those good relationships? Is that a fun environment, or is this more like a toxic, I admire you but you hate me kind of relationship? And yes, your romantic relationships, your friends, who do you surround yourself with? There's this saying in German, I don't know if it translates to English very well, but no, it's in English. Show me your friends and I show you who you are.
Yeah. And also I have to say about food, I have a story with food, because I also had times in my life where I did a lot of sports and that then ate certain food because of the sport and stuff like that. But that was also at some point not so healthy anymore. But last year when I was into this topic of life force, I also found out what we think what's healthy is not always healthy for us. Because when we think, okay, we have to eat a lot of vegetables and fruits, it also matters what kind of food we eat. Where does it come from? Is it regional or not? And does it fit to the time of the year? And also, some people don't, for example, tomatoes are not so, I don't feel so good after eating tomatoes, but you can say, tomatoes are healthy. So we really have to find out, each one of us, what serves us. And I think that's important. But of course, we can also say, yes, don't eat so much sugar, because that's also has an impact on your consciousness and stuff like that. But it's a huge field, this whole food thing.
Yeah, it's a huge topic. And I think most people, when they hear like, oh, eat healthy, don't drink alcohol, don't do drugs, don't eat meat, don't do this, don't do this. There's so many don'ts with it. But I would love to change the narrative a little bit, and to change the perspective, and to see what you gain from eating cleaner, from eating healthier. I like the term cleaner, but because what it does when you eat cleaner, your body becomes cleaner, your mind becomes cleaner, your soul becomes cleaner, you have more clarity. You don't feel drained so much. So I don't eat meat anymore, not because I don't like it, but because it doesn't do anything for my body. I don't feel good afterwards. I always feel like I've eaten a huge stone, and that lasts then, I think, for, I don't know, 2 days or so. And that is what, I'm also against animal cruelty and all the other stuff that comes with it. But first of all, it was a decision for myself, to better myself, to better my body, and to flow more easily. Yeah. And like you said, food is such a major part in it, how you feel after you eat. Do you feel heavy and your digestion is working overtime? Or is the food actually supporting you? Yes.
And that's something very important. It's interesting that we are now into the food topic, but I really like it. You see me in the morning always drinking my bulletproof coffee. And that's something that really supports me in my focus. I don't eat before. And that's also, I think being in a flow has something to do with taking decisions. And it's not that I'm doing this every day, but when I know that I have, for example, a podcast interview or an important coaching call or so, I know that my energy is more focused, and my brain works differently when I didn't eat before. And when I had my bulletproof coffee, and when I did certain things, for example, okay, I can tell you what I did this morning.
Yes, please.
It actually, when I think back to yesterday, it took a lot of decisions to bring myself into the state I am right now. And it's not that it was exhausting to take these decisions. It's more like a routine I developed over years now, where I know what serves me and what not. And so I can begin yesterday. I wanted to be in the house of my boyfriend, but I know that sometimes I don't sleep so well like I do here. And then I also thought, okay, and then I have to drive home in the morning before the interview. So maybe it's better to decide to stay at home this time, because I also wanted to have a calm evening and stuff like that. So I decided to tell him that this night I would stay in my home. That's the first decision. I slept very well tonight. And I woke up, and then I felt like, okay, now I need to move. And then I did a little, I call it body interruption. There are different, it's like a little workout, but you can use different body interruptions for different energies. For example, more to calm down, or more to be focused, or more to use your power, or there are different body interruptions. So I did one to really, where I felt like, okay, I'm focused now. I'm in my own power. I feel like I'm powerful to take my own decisions, and to not be unfocused or so. Yeah, so it's a lot about focus. So I did this, and after that I went into the ice bath. It's very cold here at the moment as well. I'm living in Fuerteventura, but the swimming pool outside is very cold at the moment. So I'm using it to do my ice baths. And an ice bath is also a very good tool to focus, to forget what's worrying me or stuff like that. So I took an ice bath, and then after that I prepared my bulletproof coffee and stuff like that. But I feel very focused and with myself. So it took a lot of decisions which were not difficult for me, but I could also have decided yesterday to stay with my boyfriend, and then, I don't know, maybe sleep well, but maybe not, and then wake up this morning and come here in my own home. But for sure I would be in a different energy. So it has something to do with decisions we take.
Yeah, you could have rushed, and then you would be all over the place because there was a traffic jam on this.
Yes. Not on this island, but yes.
So much. Yeah, but I love to talk about morning routines, because they also, set your day up for flow. Like, is your day moving easily? Is it moving in ease, or, gently? Is it a natural flow that you have during the day? Or you wake up and you rush and you do this and you do that, and it feels just really, really hard.
Yes.
I have those days, where, we oversleep, and then to prepare 2 kids, and then the dog is standing there, the pee-pee is already up in her eyes and she needs to go out, and it's like, it's mayhem,
Yes.
But like you said, it takes a couple of decisions that you make, set an alarm, be sure that you set an alarm, and even, have the kids prepare their clothes or stuff like that. Prepare yourself that it is an easy journey.
Yeah.
And because you coach creatives and artists, when I was still active in my acting career, I always thought, I'm such a creative, I need to flow, and I need to move everywhere, and I don't have boundaries, and I don't have any rules and stuff. So what we talk about now, that you have to make a decision, certain decisions, or set some rules and boundaries, that would have been poison for my brain back then.
Yes.
So how is that when you work with artists? How do you let's say, like, how do you contain them? I know this is not the right word for it, but it sounds like when they flow all over the place, how does that work?
That's interesting. Now I have to think about the group I was accompanying for half a year now. We are already or almost at the end now. And I just thought about the journey they went through in these 6 months. And I have to say, they were all already at a point where they learned kind of what they want and what they don't want in this industry. Like also where their boundaries are. Some more and some less, but they knew about it. But the interesting thing is that they more felt like a little bit powerless in this industry because they are dependent of certain outer decisions, like from casting directors or something like that. So we had to work more on to regain their own power, like the feeling of I have a power, even if in an industry where other people decide if I get the job or not. But to get in this energy of excitement again, also about what they are doing, and to also create other stuff which they can create out of themselves. But first they also had to connect to this energy again, and then to get into the excitement, and then to create videos or scenes or whatever, or get in contact also out of this excitement, get in contact with other people. Because if you get in contact with other people out of a lack of whatever, I need you, that's not a good energy, you know. Also the connections you have to be in a certain energy. You have to know what you want, and you have to be in this excitement. You have to connect to your own energy and stand for who you are. And that was more the work we did. And of course the topic of boundaries was always there. Like, what are my boundaries? How do I set them? And then, you know, the interesting thing is, in the end, when you are in really owning your own energy, you don't need to set so much boundaries anymore. And of course, it's very important to learn to set boundaries, and also to learn what your boundaries are, because everyone has different ones. You know, everyone has different topics, or like some always get the requests of not good paid jobs. The other ones always get more like on a set, more, how can I say this, sexual, like feeling of that they are used for something. You know what I mean? So everyone has different topics, so everyone has to set different boundaries. Some feel like they don't have a space for themselves. They feel very little and small. They have to learn to own their energy, and to walk into a room and to spread their energy, you know? And so everyone has different topics, and in the end, it's about really coming back to your own center and owning your energy, and having also the courage to go out and be there with all your power and energy. And that's more what I worked with them on, because it's really about owning yourself and having the courage to show up like that, and not be refused, or not having the fear of being refused. Because and then at this point, you don't need so much to set boundaries all the time, because at some point, you know, when we have to deal with rejection, or also in private life, like with a breakup, for example, our heart is broken. And then, of course, we also have to maybe to hide ourselves for a while, or to protect ourselves from something, to heal. But at some point, we have to open up again, and to let go of this fear of being rejected again or something like that, and open up again, because the healing is we took care of ourselves, and that at some point we have to open up and go out again into the world and say, okay, here I am again, stronger, but I open up, because that's also what we called in the beginning surrender to life. If we have so many boundaries and walls everywhere, we don't surrender to life. We try to protect ourselves from life. So we have to heal ourselves and that get strong, and then open up and go out again.
I loved that you started talking about boundaries, and especially that you work with your clients about on this, because when I discovered for myself how to set boundaries, it completely changed my life in a way that I was able to channel my creativity better.
Yes.
That I was not all over the place anymore.
Yeah.
I always knew what I wanted, but not, in a way, but not in a very clear way. So I was everywhere. And when I started setting boundaries, also in a way to protect myself, because, when you're open to everything, then there is a chance to get hurt on so many levels. And so when I started to set boundaries, I really channeled my energy into this, riverbed, how I call it.
That's such a good example, because I think that's what boundaries are for. It's like I said before, also boundaries have something to do with taking decisions. Like also, what do I need now? Do I need this space for myself to work on, or do I let myself be distracted by my neighbors or my boyfriend because they have a, I don't know, messy energy at the moment? It's about, these are the boundaries we have to set for ourselves in order to let our focus be in the riverbed, and not be all over the place.
Yeah. Yeah. So, when we talked about how to focus, how to get into flow, how to set boundaries, what we need to get into flow. But what if we fall out of our flow? What if there is an incident that just completely throws us off track? How do we get back?
You mean like a bigger event in our life that
Yeah, for example, death is always a big thing, that shakes you to your core. If you have a loved one die, or if you yourself have an accident, or even, like you said, a breakup, when your heart breaks and you close up for a while, what can we do to open up again, to trust life again? Because I think this is one of the things that happens, that when something outside happens, then we start to mistrust life.
Yes. Mistrust, that's a big thing. I think we all have that in some way, but also, I mean, I would say I also have that sometimes still. And I don't know if it ever goes away, but the more I walk this path I'm walking, the more I feel like there's no way back. And I will trust even in the mistrust. But also, I think, okay, when we are out of our flow, like from a big event, I think it's not always something bad. That sounds hard now, but I think these bigger events in our life that happen, and they sometimes feel like, they happen to us. And that's maybe true, but it's also always a chance. When I think back to my events or big events in my life, they were always a chance to change something. And I would say, first, it needs the time to heal, and it needs the time to to reflect on that, and it needs the time to, okay, what do I learn from this now? What was my flow before? Maybe what do I liked in the flow before, and what maybe it's like an interruption, and you can get into a new flow, but maybe you need to get into a new flow, into another flow, because the old flow was maybe something that served you for a while, but now you maybe need to go on another level, or in another direction, in another riverbed. I don't know, and I think these events sometimes help us to reflect and to also think, okay, what's next, and what do I want next? And also, what is maybe my next level? What did I learn from this event, and what did this event also show me what I really want? Maybe do I have to change the direction a little bit, or do I have to go? I just have one client of mine in my head, and she's still in a very good flow, but she's also now at a point where she maybe has to step up a little bit, and she was always it sounds funny, but she has always been successful in being liked. But now her task is to be interesting.
Oh, I love it.
And that's so, and she had this point in the beginning of these 6 months that she realized, okay, I can go on with this flow, and I also want to, but I want to add this one thing of being interesting. And therefore she has to show up with other parts of herself, which she hid before. So it's another level, and she has in some points to leave her old flow, or to interrupt this old flow to get into the new flow, and to also reflect what she wants to take to the new flow and what doesn't serve her anymore. And that's why I think sometimes these interruptions, either we take them by ourselves or we are interrupted by life, but they are always a chance to step up and to change the direction and get into a bigger new flow.
Yes.
So that's why I think these interruptions are not something bad. And if people are really heartbroken and don't know what they want anymore, then maybe they really have to start from scratch. Do you say it like that? Yeah. Like, really, okay, what do I want? What's my passion? What gives me energy? What did I always like to do? What I wanted? What did I always wanted to do, for example, maybe, but there's also always something which is the light at the end of the tunnel that can bring us out of this situation again.
Yes. And I love that you talked about up-leveling your flow. I love that. Or changing the riverbed, like the picture, a river isn't never just a straight line. It changes, it has curves. So yes, we just follow that and see every aspect that comes towards us as an opportunity and not as an obstacle.
Yeah.
So this is really, really cool. Yes. So I hope this is really useful for you out there, because for me, this picture is just a wonderful reminder of embracing everything that comes your way. Even if at first it looks hard, it seems hard, and it's not what you wanted, but to embrace it as an opportunity to maybe shift just a little bit to go around it, or just to shift a little bit to go above it, even, to elevate, to grow, to expand. So yes, this is amazing. And this actually is such a good bridge to what we are going, like, everybody, this is This gets me so excited because Maike and I are planning a retreat. We're not planning it, it is happening. We're doing a retreat in September, October, and it involves everything that we have learned, and like some of this we also covered today. There's a lot of energy work involved, but there's also a lot of like it's not a feel-good retreat. Let's say it like this. We're going to do the work. There is a lot of work in there. And yes, Maike, please, I get really excited. So you want to say something about it?
I'm also very excited. Yes. And you know, okay, the first round now in October is going to be for actors, but we spoke yesterday that we also want to, plan other retreats with the similar content, but for other people as well, because I thought about this yesterday. It is true. You can take this, our program, to everyone who wants to be successful and wants to own his or her own energy.
Yeah.
And I really, I don't know where to start. I think everything we talked about today is in there as well, the work. But also, maybe we can also talk a little bit about what is energy work for us. Mm-hmm. Because I thought about that too. Energy work can be different things. And it can be, of course, like a healing, that we are a channel for a certain energy to heal other people. But for me, the important thing, what we're doing now, is connect the people to their own energy. Mm-hmm. And to also get rid of the blockages, or to bring their own energy in the flow again, in order to shine and to be powerful with their own energy out in the world they are living in. And that's what we are doing on the beautiful island La Palma, which is also a very powerful and energetic island with beautiful nature and this huge volcano. And I think I can already feel this energy by talking about it.
Absolutely. And this is why we are calling this retreat Turbo Boost Your Success Energy. Because this is what we're going to do. We connect you to your authentic self, and through that, elevate and expand you so that you can be the most successful version in your life, in your business, in your career, whatever you want to do with it. Mm-hmm. And yes, it is a 5-day retreat. It is packed. Yes. We're also going to, and because you said the volcano, was that last year or was it 2 years ago?
I think it was. Well, I'm not sure. I think it could be last year. I'm not sure.
Okay, time flies for me. But there is still lava on the island, and we're going to do a hike there as well. Yes. So to really dig into Mother Nature's pure, raw energy, to soak it up and to fill yourself with it.
Yeah.
To, when you come home, take that energy with you into wherever you go, because sometimes the places where we live are not so nourishing or not so fertile. But when you've come to a place like this, where there is so much power, where Mother Nature just presents her power and her beauty, then you can just soak it up and, radiate it with every breath you take out into your world.
Yes. I just had a little flashback to a moment where I don't live on La Palma, but on Fuerteventura, there are also not active volcanoes, but old like craters. And I had a time where I sometimes went to one and I was lying on the earth and I felt like I could feel the earth, like the earth's heartbeat. And that's really, That's also what connects us to our own energy, because we are nature.
Yes.
And if we connect to the element which supports us, which is the earth or also the sea, we also gonna do a little excursion to the sea. But if you really connect to these elements, which are actually inside yourself as well, or you can feel the energy, you can also, or you get access to your own energy and can feel the power of it.
Yes. Yes. Oh, Maike, thank you so much for coming on today and for answering all of my questions. This was amazing. And if you have any questions right now, then please send us a message, drop a comment. Please rate this podcast with 5 stars and come back next week for more. You can reach us on Instagram, me via moving_river, or you can reach Maike at Maike Doehling. Or you can also write us an email at bea@superwoman.coach or info@maikedoehling.com. But you can also find all the information in the description of this podcast. And Maike, again, thank you for coming on and sharing your wisdom.
Thank you so much. It was a beautiful conversation as always.
Subscribe, share with a friend, and write us a cool review. Just so you know, I'm grateful for you, and remember, stay flowy, my friend.